Hey there, John DePass here from High End Fitness, and I'm here today to film video number 3 of my new Rapid Fat Loss Nutrition series. Rapid Fat Loss Nutrition is really lifestyle, healthy weight loss nutrition. You just can't discuss rapid fat loss without spending some time talking about carbohydrates. Whatever nutrition plan that you get into, if you really want to talk about rapid fat loss, you've also got to consider maintaining that fat loss for the rest of your life. And the only way you're going to be able to maintain your fat loss for the rest of your life is if it's a lifestyle, if it's a way of being. The only way you're going to be able to stick with it is if you like it, is if you love it. If your diet and your exercise program mesh together in a way that you really enjoy doing it, that's the only way you're going to stick with it. Now that you understand my position on rapid fat loss, let's get talking about carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are a vital element of a healthy weight loss nutrition plan. That since the early 90s, there have been so many diets and nutrition programs and weight loss programs that have focused on carbohydrate control that it has created a real public scare, a real fear of carbohydrates. I never like to see people afraid of foods. Fear is a terrible motivation to share with anybody. Utilizing a fear motivation for anything leads to obsessive behaviors, not balanced behaviors. We want to create a plan that people are in love with. You've got to really like it or love your fitness and wellness program in order to stick with it. Let's try to overcome any fears we have of any foods, and let's try to make our nutrition plan be based around a love motivation. I believe that any successful lifestyle weight loss program must have joy and love at its roots. You've really got to be happy with your plan in order to stick with it long term. I hope that today's message can help you overcome any fears you might have of carbohydrate consumption. Carbohydrates are one of the macronutrients. They supply your body with energy and calories. Just like proteins and fats, carbohydrates provide calories to the body and energy to the body. The weight loss industry has created fear of carbohydrates and fear of fats. Now, fear of fats is another topic. Today, I want to make sure that I stay focused on carbohydrates. Because carbs are just like any of the other macronutrients, they contain calories. If you eat too many of them, for sure, you will gain fat. When we store fat on the body, it stores as a tissue. It's called adipose tissue. The best thing about carbohydrates is they are the #1 source of glycogen for your body. Glycogen is the preferred fuel for high-intensity activity. High-intensity activity is the best activity for rapid fat loss. So carbs are very valuable and important. They're a vital aspect of your healthy, rapid fat loss nutrition plan. The key is just how many carbs do you need? How many carbs is adequate and how many carbs is too much? That is a very personalized question. We all need a different amount of carbohydrates, and that depends on our activity level, and it depends on our insulin sensitivity, and it depends on our goals. For instance, if you're a marathon runner and you're running 10 kilometers every single day, then you've got to supply your body with the glycogen to do that sort of training. And if you're sitting at a desk, your energy requirements are different. You don't need all that glycogen. You don't need all of that energy. If you want to burn fat as fast as possible, then it's likely that you're going to want to reduce your carbohydrate intake and reduce your glycogen storage. If your body has glycogen available, and glycogen is the preferred energy fuel source for your body, then your body's not going to go into your fat stores and start burning up adipose tissue. In order to get your body to burn fat as quickly as possible, we need to reduce your glycogen storage and force your body to use adipose as fuel. Each one of us has an individual carbohydrate need. Everybody's body metabolizes carbohydrates a little bit differently. Some people are more highly sensitive to carbohydrates and insulin. You cannot burn fat in the presence of insulin. So if we want to burn fat quickly, we want to control the amount of insulin there is in the body. It's the influence that carbohydrates have on blood sugar and thus on insulin where it's linked to fat burning directly. It's the dramatic effect that high carbohydrates diets have on the blood sugar that has created all of the bad press and all of the fear. Proteins and fats raise blood sugar as well too, just not as quickly and not as much. By adding a little bit of protein and healthy fats to your meals, especially to your meals that have carbohydrates, you can buffer those carbohydrates and not raise blood sugar as high. That way you keep your meals a little bit more fat burning conscious. So it's not that we need to eliminate carbohydrates. It's not that we need to be afraid of them. It's just that we need to control the amount and we need to know and calculate the ideal amount for the amount of activity that we're doing and for the goals that we have and for the effect inside of our body and how sensitive our body is to insulin. How happy is your life anyways without carbohydrates? How happy would you be without bread, without rice, without pasta, without cookies or cakes or pizza? I'm not saying you can eat all of these foods as much as you like and that you're going to burn fat that way. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is if you want to be successful for the rest of your life, it's going to be impossible to live the rest of your life without including some of these foods sometimes. A successful rapid fat loss program, a successful healthy nutrition or weight loss program, a successful lifestyle nutrition program must contain carbohydrates, must contain a carbohydrate cycle. Success always is a balance between sacrifice and reward. You will never be successful at anything if you're not making any sacrifices. If you're not willing to make any sacrifices, it's just not going to work for you. On the other hand, if you want it to be all reward, all cookies, cake, and ice cream, you'll never be successful that way either. Your diet, your nutrition plan, your successful lifestyle must contain some sacrifice and some reward. Parts of your week you can be reducing your carbohydrate intake, and other parts of your week you can reward yourself with extra carbohydrate intake. Being successful with your weight loss, with your rapid fat loss for the rest of your life really means creating a balance with your nutrition plan, a balance of sacrifice and reward. In my 25 years as a personal trainer, I've seen dozens and dozens of people lose 20, 30, even 50 pounds and gain it right back again. The reason they gain it back, they didn't learn how to love their program. They didn't create a program that they loved. They just restricted calories or restricted carbohydrates or exercised like crazy and restricted. After that, they've restricted themselves for 6 months, they swing back the other way and they end up gaining all the way back again. I would suggest a more balanced approach to your weight loss program. The only way to be successful with your healthy lifestyle program long term is if you love it. And if it's going to be all sacrifice and all carbohydrate restriction, you're never going to love it. You've got to learn a way to balance your carbohydrate intake, to have some days of the week where you are restricting your carbohydrates, other days of the week where you're allowing a little bit more carbohydrate, and one day of the week where you're likely going free for carbohydrate intake. We all need to at some point determine how much of each of the macronutrients we can eat, how often we can eat them, and we need to know which foods contain which elements. It takes about 21 days to build a new habit, to learn which foods are which, how much of them we can eat, and create our own personalized carbohydrate cycle and healthy rapid fat loss program.